Hi, folks. I'm Father Joe Grimaldi. You can call me Joe, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast. But now, here's our host and friend, Ken Calvert.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Father Joe Podcast. I'm Ken Calvert, alongside the good Padre, Father Joe Grimaldi. The Father Joe Podcast is proudly supported by Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln, 12 Mile Road, east of Telegraph in Southfield. Want to talk to you about the all-new 2019 Lincoln Nautilus. It is something to see and drive. You get an impressive twin-turbocharged 2.7-liter engine with a fuel economy rating of 27 miles per gallon. It's a beautiful, beautiful SUV. 22-way adjustable seats, a Revel audio system, a panoramic Vista sunroof, and an absolutely incredible tech package. Make sure to ask about instant savings during the end of winter savings going on right now. These are specials that are going away. Those savings are available as well on the full lineup of Hoot McInerney Star Lincolns, including the Lincoln MKC. I've been in it a lot, and I love it. Stop on by and make sure you tell them you heard about Star Lincoln on the Father Joe Podcast. Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln on 12 Mile Road, just east of Telegraph, or visit starlincoln.com. Well, while you were away a couple of weeks ago, the 2019 Synod took place, and I know that you stayed on top of all the current affairs while you were away, but let's talk a little bit about the 2019 Synod. It has now come and gone. You had the opportunity to read up on it a bit. How did you feel about the 2019 Synod?
First of all, let me say, when you have a topic like that, it's not just one event. It may take place in 3 days, but that's just the summit part. But the leading up to it and what follows, I don't think ever ends, because this is such a very serious topic. The Holy Father was very specific on erasing, if you want, this situation of abuse that exists in the church, or existed, let me put it this way, both existed and exists. And so he said we have to end that. It is the devil's work, and we have to end it. But then you have the critics that respond, give us specifics. What are you going to do? And it was interesting to me that right after the Synod, another cardinal fell, and that was Cardinal Pell, the Cardinal Archbishop of Australia, Sydney. And so he's been, I think, under suspicion for a while. So he has been civilly reprimanded and maybe even getting a sentence. I'm not sure all of the exact events that took place after the accusations.
Did he attend the 2019 Synod?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. So this was in the works prior to the Synod. Okay. All right.
Now, what makes this very important, he's one of the closest counselors of the Holy Father.
Oh, boy.
So it's really right up on top.
Yeah.
Just like McCarrick, but at least McCarrick wasn't there all the time with the Pope. He had already started to retire, if you want, whereas this man was very active, very beloved, actually. I know that many of the bishops and politicians of Australia are trying to eliminate this. They can't believe that he is guilty of any of this. They can't picture Cardinal Pell doing these things, and he's a prominent figure in Rome as well, and they all know him to be an upstanding individual who would never take part in this kind of thing. In any case, you just don't know what's in the heart of somebody else. Right. And so he may be innocent, he may not be. However, the Pope acted upon it immediately, asking him to stop all types of activity as a priest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and he's a cardinal.
Yeah, that's moving. I mean, McCarrick was defrocked.
Yes.
I mean, he is.
The next step is defrocting.
Yeah,
but if it comes to that, I don't know.
Well, I think the church has to reconcile these things as quickly as possible now.
They're trying, but the thing is this.
To.
Just think of it in a civil situation. How long do you think it would take to come to a resolution? You don't know. I mean, There's all of these witnesses that have to appear. They have to be judged and all of these other things. So I don't think things are done as quickly. Whenever you're dealing with legal issues, it takes forever.
Yeah, well, you know that because of your
legal,
your legal and jurist background.
Exactly.
All right. Well, it was funny. No, it wasn't. I shouldn't say that. It was interesting because the news organizations covered this unlike anything I've seen in a long time. I mean, there were specific correspondents on ground level 1 in Rome following every single moment of it. And, I mean, they freed up some space, which is good and is bad because, in a way, it's just the unfortunate gift that seems to keep on giving, if you know what I mean. It's anytime you hear anything about the Catholic Church, it's abuse.
This is what the Holy Father was trying to lessen, okay?
Right.
What he said towards the end, and I'm afraid I don't have any documentation in front of me at this time, but I do remember reading that what he would like to do is, yes, we want to bring an end of abuse in the church, but we want to bring an end to abuse in the schools, in the coaching area, went on and on and on, and all of the different, and particularly, which is interesting, where the numbers are astronomical, okay,
right,
that in a family. You would be amazed at what the percentage of molestation that takes place within families.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things he said, we have to get rid of all of this abuse. Now, some people see that as, he's trying to confuse people about what's going on in the church.
Yeah, I get that.
However, when you look at what he says, mind you, he's a Jesuit. He knows what he's talking about.
Right.
And what he brings about is, yes, we want to remove abuse in the church, but we should also get rid of abuse in all of the other areas, whether it's teaching,
and
coaching,
abuse, period, and abuse,
in the world,
in the world.
Now, people say, well, that's copying out. Well, it's not. It's not
well, they're saying it diluted his message a bit,
exactly.
By crossing over, if you will, and because people are going to want to do that. They're going to want to do that, and it's one of those things that's going to take a very long time for people. To get around.
Easy. It's not easy.
It certainly isn't easy, but it's. Boy, as I said a couple of times before, unfortunately, it's just that the gift that just keeps on giving. It's like, it's like the person that just won't leave.
Well, the church is so prominent. It is so shining that when anything ever happens within the church, there's going to be a lot of coverage by the news. There's going to be a lot of discussion and debating and so on and so forth. It's like this. People have such an unreal vision of all of the clerics within the Catholic Church that it is something that I said in previous podcasts is that the corruption of the best is the worst.
Yeah.
So in the eyes of the people, the church can do no wrong. And when it does do wrong, they forget that it's human and that people are going to fall. And so what they do is naturally they build it up like you wouldn't believe. It's the only place that you find sin. Well, it's not the only place that you find sin.
Yeah, well, we are so divided right now anyway that people just are in attack mode no matter what the situation is. So it's just, as the kids would say, trolling. They're trolling,
constantly.
And it never ever ends. I have a final question for you regarding that. How many, virtually every cardinal around the world attends the 2019 Synod? Or is it's an invite only, or are there row captains?
Let me put it this way.
All right, let me ask you.
Usually the active cardinals, not all cardinals.
Okay, let me reframe that. So all active cardinals attend the Synod.
Yeah, all is a very important word. If they're sick, they can't. If
Right.
Yes.
Or if they're unable to travel.
It's not just cardinals, it's bishops as well.
So our Archbishop Vigneron was there.
No, I don't think he was there, but I'm not sure.
Okay. It's curious how that... It's just curious how that all works out. But there was a good-sized crowd.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You've been in Rome. Is that a large area that they gathered in? Is that do they have a facility large enough to take on
Of course
that
they do.
amount of people?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Matter of fact, if you looked at the news, as you do, you'll see shots of while the meeting was going on, huh?
Yeah.
So they're usually in what the Italians called an aula, A-U-L-A, aula, which is like a very big auditorium. And so it holds quite a few people. I'm not good at numbers, so I can't tell you how many exactly, but it holds quite a few people.
Yeah, because you keep telling people that you're only 55 years old, and we know that that's
Oh,
impossible.
no, it's 54.
54, you see,
How
there
do
you
you
go.
mess- how
You
can
are
you mess
brutal.
that up?
You are brutal at numbers. Well, I welcome you back, my friend.
I'm happy to be back.
There was like just some sort of something in last week that didn't feel right.
All right. I think you did a great job.
Well, I think it was the dentist. But that aside, I missed you too.
Besides the dentist.
Right. All right. That's it for this particular podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ken Calvert alongside my very good friend, Father Joe Grimaldi. We'd like to thank you for joining us. As always, the Father Joe podcast is proudly supported by Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln, 12 Mile Road and Telegraph in Southfield. Stop on by, get the Father Joe Star treatment.
A special treatment.
Oh, dear. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
Take care. Bye. This is Father Joe Grimaldi, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Father Joe podcast.
If you'd like, you can email us. It's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. That's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook. Simply search Father Joe Grimaldi. And thanks for listening, everyone.